Out. Begin recording.
Hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Vashawn Jones, visionary of Fedora Outlier LLC. Let me first start off by thanking all of you guys for signing up for the Mac 101 Masterclass Foundation Series. I just appreciate it. Thank you so much. All of your support down through the years. Periodically, you guys are writing questions that I think is germane for me to answer on a platform as big as ours so that it'll help other people with similar or the same question. So what we have, I'm going to go over to mail.
Doc. Application. Doc. Pay. Mail. 3000. Mail. Rhonda email summary. New line. I was new line. New line. We new line. Subject 0. Subject 0 with no subject. New line. We received so many great questions and new line. Rhonda wrote in and asked. New line. I was looking into taking the 10-month training offered by link http://www.blinkraining.com. New line. It covers JAWS, NVDA, Windows 10, Word, and other Office products. It is not, however, accredited by any type of certification. New line. I recall you mentioning you did work for the state of Georgia. Do you have some sort of degree in vocational rehabilitation or another type of certification? New line. I'd like to take these classes, but they are expensive, and if it wouldn't do me any good as far as working is concerned, I don't see a point in putting forth the effort and cost. New line. What do you think? New line.
All right. So basically, Rhonda is attempting to become a assistive technology instructor. She looked at a couple of places, looked at what they offered, wanted to know, is it worth her time or her money? And so I'm going to digress for a bit and say that, number one, there is no certification that is recognized in all the states. When it comes to vocational rehabilitation, they want one or two things: a certification or experience. I like to rely on the experience side versus a certification, because guess what? You go get a certification, even if they are quote unquote accredited, which no one is, and then you still don't have the experience, right? So it doesn't really help. Now, I would imagine if Rhonda wants to be an assistive technology instructor, she's already has been helping people overcome their technological barriers. I would imagine. I am assuming. And next week, Chanel, when I put out her questions and statements, it is wrong for us to assume. But let's take both sides of the coin then. So Rhonda, if you're already helping people, then you already have the experience. You need to list that out in a logical way, and continue to help people and charge for your services, assuming that you feel comfortable with charging. And if you don't, that's a whole other story. That's one. Now, if you don't have the experience, but you have the confidence, start helping people with their technology and charge. Charge from day one, even if it's a nominal fee, even if it's, hey, buy me coffee and I'll help you with, your technological concerns, right? So when we deal with specific companies providing assistive technology instructions, I have never ever looked at any of them from Freedom Scientific on down, never, and what they offered. And the reason for that is I had a very specific goal of what I wanted to be and what I wanted to do when I got started, which was to teach technology all over the world, with no limitations, no barriers. Now, this was 17 years ago when I started on this mission. Of course, it is an amazing reality now. And so nobody else was doing it at the time, and definitely no one was doing it at the level in which I wanted to perform, because I didn't want to drive around to people's houses and do that whole thing, right? I wanted to teach hundreds of people all at one time, right? It's like writing a book. I wanted to write the book once and sell it over and over again to anybody in the world. And then if, going back to, is it worth your time as an instructor, I can either spend, $35 an hour or whatever the crap rate is, to teach somebody their technology, or I can charge $250 an hour and make it more valuable for me, and make sure that I'm intentional about the single person that I'm teaching that is thus taking up my time from creating courses in which I can sell to thousands of people at once versus me focusing on one particular person. So it's all in how you want to position yourself in becoming an assistive technology instructor. So with that being said, if the courses are expensive to you, then they are expensive to you. The fact that they don't even offer their own certification gives me pause if that is true based on what you stated. The fact that they're only focusing on Windows, which is no longer a Windows world. Please don't get into the whole belief of all the corporations use Windows. It's bull crap. The government uses Windows, Mac, Android, iOS. They use whatever device based on whatever department heads have been assigned, and those devices have been approved. They even have bring your own device, BYOD, kind of like bring your own bottle, right? All right. And so I do not have a contract with Vocational Rehabilitation in Georgia. One of the reasons being is I do a lot of advocacy for helping people cut through the red tape of the bureaucracy that is Georgia Vocational Rehabilitation here in Georgia. And a lot of times I'm on the front lines, marching, advocating, holding meetings about the crap that our disabled blind individuals have to put up with. So it's a pull and a tug to have a organization pay me large sums of money, and I advocate against the crap that they do. And yes, in meetings, I tell them this is crap because it completely is, as you may have experienced in you all's own states. But I do have other rehabilitation contracts with other organizations in the state of Georgia in which I believe in, that pays well, that understands the value of rehabilitating somebody from a technological standpoint. And also, let me let you know that it is a great time to be thinking about this, moving into it, and doing it if you have a passion of teaching people technology. The reason being, everybody's at home. Everybody's gonna be at home for a long time. And guess what? As a business, if I can get the same or more productivity from individuals working from home, i.e. a blind person can work from home, i.e. the interview is done from home, and they're not concerned if you're blind or not. They just want to know, can you do the job? It's a great time. It's a perfect time. It is almost the most optimal time to be doing this, which is working from home. I've always done it. 17 years ago, I started doing it. I was teaching my first couple of clients. One was in Germany, one was in Canada, the others was in Georgia, and made a great living just from the 5 or 6 clients that I had. Now, 10 months, that's a very, very long time for a remote program. A lot of times companies will charge based on the amount of time it takes you to quote unquote complete their course. Well, I have people in my courses that do them in 3 weeks. I got one guy, Alan, every time I put out a new lesson, which is virtually daily, he eats it up, provides great feedback, even takes it to the next level with what he does. So a course is depending, unless they're spoon feeding it for the sake of time to you, can be self-paced 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, right? And so 10 months is a very, very long time. And the value is a perceived value versus a actual value. What do I mean by that? So let's say you go to grass cutting school, which there hardly aren't any, landscaping, I guess you would call it. But, you know, the guy cutting my grass, I never asked him for his certification. Where did he go to college? I never asked him, hey, let me see your accredited hours for cutting grass. No, I seen him across the street. Well, I heard him across the street cutting grass, and he was cutting grass every 2 weeks. And everybody said how beautiful that person's yard was. And so one day I caught him and I said, hey, I want you to cut my grass. And the next thing you know, me and the lady across the street got the most beautifulest yards. Beautifulest is not a word, I think. Beautiful yards in the neighborhood, literally. I mean, it's really nice. My grass is nice and lush. $60, right? 10 yards a day. That's $600 a day for doing something that he loves. Guess how long it takes him? It takes him 10 hours. But he can work Monday through Thursday and he can make $2,400 a week. He's off Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's amazing. That's taking your time and valuing it and maximizing, the effectiveness of it, and no certification required. Now, a certification does one of two things. It gives you the confidence to know what you're talking about if you don't, which is the side of the coin of, hey, I've never done it before. Let me find out what this is about. I think I'm very much interested. Or it can help you get your first job if you don't have experience. So my thing as I started this was saying I like experience. I like a person who has experience cutting grass, experience teaching and performing the saxophone, to teach me about guitar pedals and how that relates. I want people who are experienced. I don't care about their certification, their degree. Now, if I'm getting brain surgery, heart surgery, having any type of medical needs, then yeah, I want somebody that has the subsequent and requisite and prerequisite training, certifications, degrees, and all of that. But again, there is no degree that you can get, no certification that you can get that the state is just going to be like, oh yeah, this is the one. It's based on experience. It's based on referrals. It's based on people saying, hey, I want Rhonda to teach me. Every day I have someone from one of these 50 states in the United States or outside of the country that tells their counselor, I want Fedora Outlier to teach me. And so, of course, we do it. And again, I never looked at anyone else's model. I didn't copy anyone. I looked at it based on the industry and I said I wanted to change it. And you can do the same thing. You can look at what we're doing and what they're doing and what other people are doing and say, hey, I want to model myself this way. And so we have contracts with a bunch of other states outside of Georgia, which gives me that whole state thing. But the diversification is vast from the standpoint of we have contracts with various departments of education. We have contracts with the federal government. We have contracts with local and state organizations around the United States. We do the private thing. We do group teaching for teachers. We train assistive technology instructors to become better than excellent assistive technology instructors. And so we're not pigeonholed into the things that other people are doing just to make a buck. We do website, WCAG compliance. We do website remediation. We do website building. We teach people how to present. We test various technology. We create accessible applications for the workplace. We work with API developers to funnel a variety of apps into one app to make it accessible for those looking for employment. We do advocacy work. We help individuals close out their vocational rehabilitation cases successfully. And so when you have that type of diversification, it's like the guy cutting 10 grasses a day. It generates a revenue that you don't have to focus on one client at a time. And so that's my advice to anyone wanting to be an assistive technology instructor. Now, as Christy wrote in the email, she says it best.
In today's video, we're going to introduce new line. Watch now. New line. Side note, Mac 101. The foundations is a good start for anyone.
For the Mac or on Windows or whatever it is that you want to learn for, at this time, $100. Well, I think you're already in, Rhonda, so you got it for $1. It's a great place to learn. It's a great start. Cool. All right. So, Chanel, hope I got that right. Your questions and comments next week. Greatly appreciate it.
I can live.
And remember,
I can live.
There's no limit to how great you can be. Let's change the world.
Show/hide sound levels button.
Let's change the world together.
End record.